Plus versus premium when it comes to the Vomero line, which one is right for you? Today, we break it down. What's up everybody, I'm Eric McIntyre, aka Rad Dad Bod, and you're watching Rad Dad Bod TV, where we review running shoes. If it's your first time watching one of my videos, you may notice those timestamps below. Feel free to jump around to the various parts of this comparison, but if you do so, I'd sure appreciate it. Come back, watch the full thing when you get a sec, as I put a lot of time and effort into these videos. Now, quick disclaimers and disclosures are that I did receive both of these shoes directly from Nike for free for the purpose of review. That being said, I'm not paid, I'm not given talk tracks, talking points, anything like that. No one watches the videos beforehand, and all thoughts are entirely my own. With that out of the way, let's talk about the intended use of these shoes. Now, the Vomero line from Nike is the max cushion line in general, right? So both of these are going to be max cushion shoes, but at least in my experience and what I've seen from Nike kind of across the board, the plus and premium naming actually does give a little bit more insight into what they hope we use the shoes for as well, or their intended purpose. So for the plus line, these tend to be a little bit more responsive, a little bit lighter, kind of your up-tempo version of that daily training category. So you're going to have slightly more responsive foams, things along those lines. Then the premium line is really going to be kind of your premium experience. There's going to be some, there's not like exclusivity, like they're not necessarily hard to get, but they are going to be just a little bit more special. They're going to put better materials overall and really kind of pull out all the stops, and that's going to come with a premium price point, which we'll talk about as well. So that's kind of how we're going to be discussing the shoes today, and because this is a comparison, we're not going to focus so much on the specs, going to focus primarily on the feel and the experience that you're going to have between the two, or the differences thereof. So diving into the price point, that's the big first kind of discrepancy here. The Vomero Plus comes in at $180 and the Vomero Premium comes in at $230. So a $50 price difference between the two. Pretty significant overall. Again, you're paying for kind of a lot more materials, a lot more of a premium experience. Speaking of which, when you look at the specs of the shoes, the Vomero Premium comes in at 55 in the heel, 45 in the forefoot for a 10mm drop, and then the Vomero Plus comes in at 43 in the heel, 33 in the forefoot for a 10mm drop. So, you know, almost 10 or there's more than 10mm difference in terms of midsole stack underfoot. So you've got a lot more material here overall. The other thing is, from a weight perspective though, the Plus comes in at 9.9 ounces, which is 281 grams, and the Premium comes in at 12.3 ounces, which is 351 grams. So with that additional stack, you also get a lot of additional weight. Now, from a fit perspective, I found that personally the Vomero Premium fits a little bit roomier throughout. So wider toe box, standard-ish midfoot, and then kind of a standard to almost roomy heel in the Vomero Premium, true to size length. So I would go same size with either of these. 10.5 is my normal size. I wear 10.5 in both, would not have size up or down personally, right? The Vomero Plus, I would say, fits similarly, but fits more narrow in the midfoot area. So if you have tried the Plus and you feel like it fits a little bit snug, the Vomero Premium is going to be a little bit better in that regard. Moving to the uppers, both of them have what they call a mono blended engineered mesh. Now, the execution is a little bit different. I do think that the engineered mesh, that mono blended engineered mesh, is a little bit more breathable in the Premium, but I think that the tongue of the Premium, actually I'm going to say that it's pretty similar. I think that the Premium itself is so overwhelming though, in terms of just everything, that it feels a little bit more plush to me in terms of that upper, and so it feels fairly warm. I do think the upper is technically a little bit more breathable though. The Vomero Plus is also going to be very warm though. The big thing, because I actually think both uppers are decent in terms of that breathability, the biggest thing to me is just that tongue. So both of them have a massive tongue, plus have a good amount of cushion in the heel. So those just kind of keep your feet warm for the most part. Now, other key differences, the Vomero Premium does have a fully gusseted tongue while the Vomero Plus does not, but I think lockdown is a little bit better actually in the Plus, just because I feel like that more kind of snug midfoot area just gives you a little bit better fit, versus with the Premium, I feel like the upper, it's not baggy, but I almost feel like it is a little bit extra roomy, to where I had to cinch down pretty tight initially on the laces to find my lockdown, to where then I got a little bit of lace pressure or lace bite. But over time with the miles, I did find that the upper kind of eased up and I was able to get my better fit. Early on though, I had some heel slippage just because I was struggling to find kind of the right lockdown between the heel versus the midfoot area, right? But all in all, like I don't feel like I slip and slide around in either shoe. Now moving to the midsoles, both of them have Zoom X, which is tuned for maximum cushion. I've been told that this is not the PIBA version of Zoom X, but potentially a TPEE, I think, version, and is tuned again for more comfort, more squish, as opposed to Racing Zoom X is a little bit firmer than what you have in these two shoes. Then the other difference is that the Vomero Premium has the Zoom Air pods in the forefoot and heel area, right? This is where the biggest difference is going to happen with these shoes as far as the overall sensations, right? The Zoom X in the Vomero Plus is very comfortable. You get like a nice soft midfoot feeling. You do sink into it a little bit more. You would expect the Premium to be maybe a little bit softer than it is, but it's really not, because to make these Zoom AirPods, they actually have like a plastic casing around the actual Zoom Air. So you know, I feel like you do have to work harder to compress the midsole of the Premium. In videos of me running, like, it doesn't look like it compresses at all, versus the Zoom X in the Vomero Plus, I can compress fairly easily, and I do find it to be softer overall between the two. As far as like pace wise, I mean, I think that the Premium is better suited for recovery. I was surprised in my last run in the Premium though, because I did a progression run basically, and I ended up finishing under 7-minute miles with the Premium. And it's kind of like it just takes some effort to get up to speed. Once you're at speed, you can maintain that and propel yourself forward. It just takes a second to get there. With the Vomero Plus, I feel like right off the bat, you can kind of get where you want to be with the shoe. I would say that the Vomero Plus could be used for easy run, long run, just kind of steady, up to even tempo potentially. I don't think it's like a speed day shoe, but it is surprisingly kind of nimble and fast in comparison to the Premium. I still feel like it's still more recovery, but it has more versatility than I was expecting. Again, you just have to work to get yourself there, and then once you're there, I was very pleasantly surprised at how much bounce there was in the midsole. But again, I do think that the Premium is actually firmer than the Plus just because of the massive stack plus those Zoom AirPods. The other thing is the stability. The Vomero Plus has better stability between the two. The Premium was surprisingly less stable than I expected, right? So that's, you know, a little bit weird, because I felt like with the wide base, I do feel like it's a wider shoe than the Plus, though the Plus is not narrow. I felt like I would have more stability, but just with that much stack underfoot, I think it's just really difficult to get it to really comply. I don't think it's gonna like push towards, I don't think it's gonna openly make you overpronate, where some shoes I do feel like you lack that medial stability. But again, if you're on kind of slanted roads, which most roads are slightly slanted, you're running on the side there, right? Especially where it kind of tapers off, you feel the differences because you're so high up that you feel when you're at a slant. And so it can be a little bit chaotic. So just keep that in mind. Meanwhile, the Vomero Plus, it's not a low stack shoe by any means, but it does feel closer to the ground, a little bit more nimble in that sense. And you do get a more solid base, in my opinion, right? Now, as far as the outsoles, I find that the outsole pattern, they're both high abrasion rubber. I find that the outsole of the Premium, though, is a little bit grippier, just a tiny bit. The waffle pattern seems to be holding up well, but there are some areas with exposed foam that are going to wear away. Meanwhile, with the high abrasion rubber on the Vomero Plus, I feel like it's just not quite as grippy as the Premium. It still has basically a waffle pattern for the most part, and the waffle pattern tends to do well, and it is holding up durability-wise. I just felt like it wasn't gripping the road quite the same as the Premium. So, but both of them, the high abrasion rubbers tend to do pretty good from Nike. I'm not worried about slipping and sliding around too much, especially if I'm going primarily easy, steady running with both of the shoes. Now, as far as my pick between the two, I think that the Vomero Premium is really cool. I think, obviously as a shoe reviewer, I had to try it. Pleasantly surprised at what it can do. And it's just a cool shoe. Like, it's not a concept shoe, but it almost feels like a concept shoe. The Vomero Plus, though, I think is a really solid, like, max cushion with some good pickup option. I think the Vomero Plus is a realistic, not do-it-all shoe, but like if you have a 1-shoe rotation, you don't really want to buy like 10 shoes. I think the Vomero Plus is a viable option there. I think it gives enough cushion underfoot for those who like the cushion, but for those who want something with a little bit more pickup, I think that it's fairly lively, which I really, really like. So all in all, I think that the Vomero Plus is really underrated. The $180 price point is stomachable. It's a little higher than I would like it to be, but for a lot of premium daily trainers, max cushion daily trainers, that is within range. So I don't hate the price point. It's more an industry-wide issue than it is like this individual shoe. So meanwhile, over here at $230, is it $50 better than the Plus? I think it's $50 cooler. I think it's $50 like the aesthetic, just the air on the side there in the upper, like it's a really cool shoe. Strict performance, I think that the Plus is a more versatile, lighter, better overall option if you're wanting to do a little bit more than just recovery and the occasional slightly faster run. So I'm going Vomero Plus. Vomero Premium though, really, really cool shoe. It like, I'm probably going to wear it just even casually, which is crazy, but I probably will. So anyway, just some final thoughts. I'm a fan. A lot of people kind of criticize the Nike line, or Nike, when they changed their daily training lineup to be like the Pegasus, the Vomero, and the Structure lines, but I kind of like it. So we'll see if, I don't know if they're going to continue with it into 2026. I'm assuming they will, because they, put a lot of marketing dollars into rebranding for that, and it was their big thing at the running event last year. We'll see what they have at the running event this year. So, but I'm a big fan. I'm excited to see how the lines continue to evolve. Will we see premium twos, right? That's kind of going to be the big question going into 2026. We haven't even seen the Structure Plus, let alone premium. So, will that continue, or will they kind of shift gears? We'll see, but there's a lot to come from Nike, I'm sure, in 2026. So if you watched this far, I sure appreciate you. Let me know in the comments what questions you have about any of the shoes you've seen today, what other comparisons you'd like me to do, and let me know in the comments what I can be doing better to make these videos even more entertaining for each one of you. If you'd like to support the channel, please consider using any of the affiliate links in the description below. I've got links to Wallaco and Fuel Goods, both of which give me kickbacks, and if you use RadDad20 at checkout for Wallaco, you actually get 20% off. So if you've had your eye on some Wallaco distance tights, whether that be the full or the half tight, I'm a huge fan. I'm probably going to wear them at my marathon for Tokyo 2026. And then lastly, we're just going to leave you with a question, which is, what is the most that you will normally pay for a running shoe? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks, everybody.